Good morning. Can we all be seated, please? It's a lovely morning outside, except for the wind, I guess. My name is Satish Udpa, and it's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome each one of you to this ribbon-cutting ceremony. This is an important event because this building arguably is our most visible expression of our commitment and promise to providing a cutting-edge IT environment and an ecosystem necessary to advance our important missions of teaching, learning, research, and outreach. We are very proud of this facility because we believe that with the right digital tools, students, staff, and faculty will be able to be far more productive now and well into the future. It represents a commitment on our part to provide the best possible services to you and to protect our assets more ably. And so without much further ado, I'd like to invite Trustee Melanie Foster, who's our Finance Committee Chair and is one of our most consistent supporters of IT on this campus, to say a few words about why she thinks this facility is important. Trustee Foster.
Good morning, and thank you, Executive Vice President Satish Gupta. What a beautiful day it is, and it's my honor and privilege to represent the Board of Trustees this morning. First, I'd like to acknowledge my colleagues on the Board of Trustees, the Chairman of the Board, the Honorable Brian Breslin, and the Chair of the Policy Committee, the Honorable Diane Byram. We on the board have eagerly been anticipating this day since we approved this project nearly 2 years ago. The data center shows us the importance of technology to our students, our faculty, and the critical role it plays in teaching and learning. Every learning environment is mediated by digital technology. Digital learning allows our faculty to provide students with richer experiences and gives our students a more personalized interaction. Technology enables new connections and freedom where faculty can bring data from distant sensors to our campus. Students' learning environment is unrestricted. Our library has fewer books, yet more knowledge. Our learning, engagement, and outreach have all become advanced through digital behaviors. This investment will allow us to imagine and create a very unique learning future. I want to acknowledge and thank individuals who have been instrumental in bringing us here today. And I'd also like to add that this project was brought in 4 months ahead of schedule, on budget, and using 100% Michigan workforce. I think that's worth applauding, right? So the team that was instrumental in doing all this, CH2M, which designed the facility, Holder Construction for construction management services, and the MSU units involved in the project, IT services, infrastructure planning and facilities, Office of Planning and Budgets, and the Executive Vice President for Administrative Services. Thank you all for sharing this vision for MSU in this new data center and for working so hard to bring this to reality. Thanks.
Thank you, Trustee Foster, for sharing your enthusiasm and for those kind words. I would now like the Advocate-in-Chief and the principal cheerleader of this facility, Chief Information Officer Rob McCurdy, to speak. Rob and his team worked countless number of hours with Dan Bowman and his team, Barb Krantz, Wolfgang Bauer, and others to build this facility. Rob?
Thank you, Satish. And thank you all for coming here, taking the time out of your days to help us celebrate this ribbon cutting. I really appreciate it. So this was one of those ginormous initiatives that had so many different people involved. I want to take a moment just to thank a few of the key individuals. I by no means can thank everybody that played a part in this because it was so many people. So first, infrastructure planning and facilities, Dan Bowman, Scott Gardner, Chris Barnes, who at least some of them are in the audience. Unfortunately, Dan is out sick today with an illness, but he sends his best wishes. The amount of expertise that they brought to the table was just simply impressive day in and day out. The technology options that they provided us on how we construct this, and the management all the way through that allowed us, as Trustee Foster mentioned, to deliver 4 months ahead of schedule. All the way down to the minute detail of just simply an electrical plug, right? Making sure every single one of those arrived on time. And when one of them was delayed or 100 of them were delayed, they always had backup options. So really appreciate their effort. I know they do that day in and day out with all the buildings, but this is the largest initiative I worked on with them, and simply impressive. And then we have OPB, Office of Planning and Budget. So Dave Bialik, Barb Kranz, really a lot more people in the unit, but those two especially. The overall enterprise organizational planning that they brought to the table, again, this has been years in the making. We were able to leverage research that was done for the facility for rare isotope beam. We were able to leverage that type of research as far as how much vibrations come from the railroad tracks to make sure that our data center is far enough away and computers aren't impacted by that. We wouldn't be able to do that in a normal data center construction, but due to the expertise and the genius and the brilliance of our people here, we're able to leverage that. For them to bring that to the table, again, we're just so lucky to have that. And then administrative services. So Satish Udpa and Wolfgang Bauer, who knowing them likely won't take any credit, but again, the intelligence they brought to the table, really making sure that we stayed aligned to the university mission, the research and academic excellence that they bring to it, so that we ensure that we're delivering the best building, the best data center, the best facility to be able to support the mission of the institution. And then of course, we have IT, which I can't thank every individual, but I want to call it a couple of key players. Brian Loomis, our Chief Technology Officer, Steve Jackson, and Sharon Bennett. Again, there's so many other people that played a part in this, and I want to thank all of them, but those three especially, they really came in time and time again. We, of course, hit hurdles with a multi-year project such as this, and they helped us work through all of them, and somehow we got 4 months ahead of schedule and under budget. So thank you for all those people. Now, I also want to thank university leadership, and specifically the Board of Trustees. So this isn't just a building, as Satish mentioned. This is one piece of our transformational effort, and I really want to thank the university leadership, the trustees, the president for supporting that. This is one piece of a giant transformation initiative, and it's going to allow us to more effectively use our IT resources to support the education, research, and outreach mission of our institution. We're going to be able to pool our resources together, share them, and effectively use them in ways we've never done it before. So I really want to thank him for the support. And since Satish is unlikely to kick me off stage and I have a captive audience, I want to take this opportunity to also boast a little bit about our IT team. So you may recall about a month ago we had a minor flooding event on campus. While IPF was going around constructing or standing up those barriers to help protect our infrastructure, many of you likely don't realize that our team, the IT team, was working on migrating out of a data center that was in the floodplain. Had the floods raised another foot, our servers would have been underwater, which of course is one of the reasons we built this, but we suddenly had to emergency migrate. And as some of our corporate colleagues that are in the audience may be able to attest to, you'd typically see a data center migration of that scale take 3 to 6 months in a well-funded, well-run corporate IT. Our team had to do it in 72 hours. That's impossible. They did it. And they did it without most people knowing. They did it without any significant impact to the university. They did it in 72 hours. So I just want to commend our team, and I want to say, knowing that we have, MSU, FCU, Ford, and a number of other people in the audience that run great IT, our IT is second to none, so no disrespect meant to that. But the dedication they show, I never have to call somebody to ask them to work. When we run into these incidents, they call me and ask how they can help. I have to call people to tell them to stop working and take a break. They really come together and just deliver. They love this place and they care about this institution. So I want to say thank you to the whole IT team, many in the audience here and others watching on the live stream. So thank you very much for all your effort. It is recognized, and we're going to keep doing the impossible and making it look easy. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I was assured this morning that this tent is anchored firmly and it's not going to fly away, so please be assured. I would now like the newest protagonist and champion of this facility, President John Engler, to tell us why this facility is so critically important to MSU's long-term growth and health, and share a roadmap for where we are headed. President Engler.
Well, thank you very much, Satish, for a warm introduction, and to everyone, welcome to this ribbon-cutting ceremony. I said on the way in, had I only realized that scheduling this ceremony and holding the ribbon cutting would bring the sunshine out and a little taste of spring, we'd have done this a month ago. The spring has been ridiculous, but what a beautiful morning we have, and thank you for coming. Thank you for watching on the live stream. I know that we're using technology to take our message across the campus this morning, and it's a great day actually to celebrate. And I just couldn't be happier that everyone's here. We've got the members of our board. I actually have the least to do with this project of anybody in this room. It was all done by the board years ago in terms of the authorization, and then as Rob indicated, a whole host of people have been part of the success of getting this to the point where today we do the formal ribbon cutting. We've already had the open, if you will, and the integration's underway, but this is a special morning, and I want to talk about sort of where we go from here. Steve Ballmer, who actually he was CEO of Microsoft, but he was a Cranbrook guy, so he spent a lot of time in Michigan, but he said that the chief benefit of information technology is actually its empowerment of people to do what they want to do, to be creative, to be productive, to learn. In that sense, he said it's all about potential, and certainly Michigan State University is all about human potential as well. And having a capable, accessible, dependable information technology infrastructure today is absolutely crucial to us pursuing our mission, and we want to make it possible for everybody to be as creative as they can be, to be as productive as they can be, to learn as much as they possibly can learn. And that's why we're here today to do this little bit of a celebration. And a celebration like this gives us a chance to pat ourselves on the back for delivering a nice project on time and under budget, but it also allows us to talk about where we go from here. And I came back to the campus, as you know, in February. I've had a lot of opportunities to be around the campus. Not as many as I would like. I will say that hopefully that will increase in the days ahead. But as I've traveled the campus and talked to department leaders, to college deans, and to people who are doing interesting things on our campus, there are a lot of advancements, a lot of progress being made at Michigan State University, and there's so many ways in which the Spartans are advancing the common good. And I think, while we think about a train whistle and what it means from the past, we think about information technology, about what it means for the future, because in 21st century America, information technology it's our lifeblood. It's essential. It's ubiquitous. The technology is everywhere, and it is vital infrastructure in our community of teachers and researchers and learners. It's a tool that we can't function without. Over spring break, we're proud, and Vinny's here, Vinny Gore. We had a great help with his team, but they've put the wireless technology in the student rooms in Shaw and Emmons Hall and Spartan Village over the, as soon as we break in, a few weeks now, we're going to finish up the rest of the residence halls, and so they'll all be done when everybody comes back in the fall. And having available, reliable, high-speed wireless service where students actually are living and studying, that's been a priority for our students for a long time. The student government's talked about the need for that. Again, the board supported it, and getting that completed it's a good thing. I mean, we shouldn't celebrate too much. Probably should have had it done a little while ago, but it is done, and we move on. It's the beginning. In the mobile world that we're in today, information has to be accessible everywhere. I'm even carrying 2 phones today, which I've found myself doing since I came back. Devices are everywhere. Kids arrive, I think, with probably our incoming students getting, 5 devices? Average 5 devices are walking in. I mean, everything's kind of wireless these days, and that's what we want to make sure that any nook and cranny, every corner of this campus, you can be joined up and connected. And our agenda, when we look ahead, has to include the necessary tools that enhance our lives and experiences as members of Spartan Nation. And this spring, IT is going to have a new mobile app out, the Spartan Experience app, and this was actually designed by some of our students in computer science and engineering, and it highlights different campus features and such things as building and parking lot locations, directions and maps, residence hall menus, something really important, and other features that just help students navigate and move through their day. And that's just a little tiny example of what our potential is. The change that we're envisioning is much bolder, and I think will be viewed as much more transformative. And I want to just comment before I expand on that about the data center itself. You had some of these from both Rob's presentation and from Melanie's today, but this is a big technology milestone for the university. It's a world-class facility. It's going to open up a lot of opportunities on campus, and we think even beyond. And it certainly is going to support in a robust fashion the technology demands of academic research and healthcare units across our campus. State of the art, it's got all the bells and whistles, the climate control, the powered hazard mitigation, meeting all the government security standards. Federal grant requirements are also very much in our mind. There's a sustainable design on this site selection, and security first and foremost. And security in the world of technology has to be at the top of everyone's list. You only have to watch for a little bit of the Mike Zuckerberg testimony in front of the congressional committees yesterday and the day before to see it's a different kind of security being talked about, but it all sort of comes together. This center will have the potential for expansion for our needs, and we've also got some community partners that are here today who may well wish to accept an invitation to kind of join with us in this data center and help support their operations and enhance their safety and security. This was a partnership on the university, and that's been mentioned, but the project team really did do a heck of a job. I won't go over all of it, but engineers, construction crews, electricians, plumbers, IT experts, HVAC professionals. We had a great team, and they did a fabulous job. And so leadership that can deliver the center with the scale that it represents and with the safety and the timing, they know how to get things done. And now we're going to ask them to do a lot more because I like to get things done. That's kind of why Brian, I guess, and Diane and Melanie and their colleagues on the board called, and I said, well, there are some things, there's limits on what an interim president can accomplish, but there are a few things, and if you have the misfortune to be in the focus, you could be one of those that where I can apply some direct involvement, and technology is one of these, because I think if we look at technology on the campus today, one of the things that surprised me when I arrived is how decentralized it was with more than 60 different IT groups, and we need a lot of input and we need a lot of different needs to be met across the campus, but I think there's a strategy that helps us do that, and we've got certainly on our campus groups like FRIB and their IT team, the High Performance Computing Center, the College of Engineering, where they've got Division of Engineering Computing Services. They've got some pretty specialized roles, and some of those are kind of tied to federal research projects, and so they've got maybe enhanced obligations, and we have to be very cognizant of those, and we're certainly going to keep an eye on maintaining full compliance with all of these federal obligations. But much of what we do does not have that specialization, does not have that, and so we're going to begin this month the process of transitioning IT functions and services into a focused information technology strategy. Now, the good news for everybody that's going to be involved in this, Rob mentioned what they were able to do in 72 hours with their migration. We're not going to ask you to do it in 72 hours. I will, you can breathe easy. It's not. I told the deans, June had me out to meet with the deans, and I mentioned that this was going to be a priority. And of course, immediately there were a number of questions, some nice compliments, but questions as well. I said, this is going to be done carefully, and as I mentioned, there are federal research requirements. We've got a lot of specialized research done by individual professors in different departments. It's sensitive to that, but gosh, where we can move and be, I guess, successful in taking decentralized units, organizing them into a central leadership and operating structure, what we end up was a model that I think has been proven to be very successful in many other public and private organizations, where excellence is demanded, where complete adherence to audit requirements is expected, where quality in technology and quality in the security is attained, recognizing that we're in a world that's filled with threats. And so we want information technology at Michigan State to be positioned to deliver some very functional solutions in an efficient and timely way. And where I think it gets exciting for the users across our campus, and those users are the students for sure, our faculty and our staff, and June, even those grad assistants, right? You know, the graduate students, we want to mention them. They sometimes don't get singled out. You know, they're part of the faculty, though. We want to mention them, by golly. But the user experiences for everyone are going to get better. And I think what's also going to get better is the ability to rapidly develop more useful applications, different applications, and that becomes a key priority. So suddenly the service needs, we can do that. And I think you're going to have an ability. We have silos, and in some of those silos are amazing skills and expertise. We need everybody to get advantage and access to that expertise, because you know, why should one college be splendid and the other one kind of suffering a little bit and wondering why does it take so long? We think we can upgrade all of this, and that expertise across the campus will serve to benefit our entire MSU community. The other thing that I think we want to be sensitive to is that where there are planned or unplanned IT events, that we're either handling those in the initiation of those events appropriately, at the right time, with the right scrutiny and oversight, or with the rapid response in case something happens that's unforeseen. So we want that to be consistent and coordinated. We're going to save some money too, which actually not something we always talk about at the university, but I think it's a good thing. Heaven knows we're spending enough on other matters at the moment, so it's nice to save a few dollars. And I think in here, and I'll give you just an example, we've got different colleges that have licenses with the same company. We buy all those licenses one time for the university. Guess what? We save money. That's a good thing. Even in a university, that's a good thing. And so we'd like to then take that money and plow that back into, again, that organization, which I've said to Rob, I said, look, it has to be efficient, it has to be effective, it has to be robust, and it has to be client-centered. And so that's really, really important. We've got to keep pace with the needs of student and faculty and researchers. And we want to be competitively positioned among our peers. And when I say competitively positioned among our peers, that means just slightly ahead of them, or maybe miles ahead if we can get there. But we clearly want to be a campus. When anybody steps on this campus, they say, boy, my technology needs are met in the most fulsome and effective way. This ought to be an exciting place. I think we've got the talent to do that, and I know we've got the will to do it, because this is an area where Spartan IT will. They will get this done. They will make this successful. So I just want to wrap this up by saying, in conjunction with their colleges and the different support units, that this is a focus that really does try to make a difference for the university community, for our success as a university community, for our scientists and researchers, and the breakthroughs. Satish is very proud of the fact that we've just now sort of crested over about the $700 million mark in research dollars on this campus. That's a big number, a big bit of growth from where we were just a few years ago. And it's going to continue if we give our team the tools and the abilities to do this. We're a global research institution. We should have a world-class IT infrastructure available to every single person that sets foot on the MSU campus. And I believe that the potential and the power that focused technology can deliver for this university is pretty amazing. So I'm excited to see some of the advances, and the cool thing about this is I will be here long enough to see those, because this does not take that long. So I want to thank our Satish for hosting us this morning. He's done a fabulous job, and I want to thank Rob and everybody in the IT organization across the campus. And to them who are nervous now, they're saying, what's this mean for me? It's all going to be good. There's always a little bit of orientation as we make some changes, but it's going to be very good, and you're going to get a lot of pats on the back, I think, for the improved services and the advancements that you make and the apps that you create. And this is just a building. What's really important is the talent of the men and women who work in the building, who work in IT across the campus. This is merely where the intellectual property comes to be distributed all across the campus in the way of better support and better services. So I think Spartans are, again, securing a place for generations to come. This is a great morning. It's a beautiful morning. We have some sun finally after the most dreadful spring I can imagine. And now we have a ribbon to cut. So I'm going to turn it back over to Satish to give us our instructions. And then when we get the ribbon cut, I think we've got some refreshments for everybody. So Satish, thank you very much for coming out today and being part of this, everyone.
Thank you, President Engler, for the support of the ongoing IT transformation, but just as importantly, for your passion and commitment to this university. This concludes this segment of our program, and we will now move over to the data center entrance over there for the ribbon cutting. I would now like to invite Trustee Breslin, Trustee Foster, Trustee Byram, the Provost, and Rob McCurdy to join President Engler in cutting the ribbon. After the ribbon cutting, please join us under this tent here for a reception. Thank you all again for coming today, and a big shout out to Barb and everyone else who planned and supported today's event. Thank you.